Tower Defense Simulator has released many big and good updates, but lately the new PvP update has divided the community. Some players love the competition, others say it will ruin the game. In case you haven't tried it yet, PvP mode is a competitive version of TDS, where players fight each other by defending waves and sending enemies to their opponent. It's fast-paced, chaotic, and definitely different from what Tower Defense is used to. This update was received with mixed reactions. On one side, some players welcomed PvP as a refreshing change. As a Reddit user states, quote, "PvP was a great addition to TDS honestly. It gives players something fresh to do outside of grinding the same maps over and over. You actually have to think on your feet, not just memorize spawn patterns. It made matches feel intense again, kind of like early TDS before everyone just copied the meta." End quote. But when we look at the other side of the player base, it's a completely different story. Many believe this was a terrible update. One player explained, quote, "I really don't like the fact that the game incentivizes you to send enemies for economy. I feel like they could have approached economy differently in this mode. Also, AoE towers are basically a must-here, which just kind of screws over the balancing and makes single-target towers like Militant and Soldier redundant. The changes to several towers also felt rather unnecessary, and all it does is just makes the mode more confusing." End quote. But in order to really understand this disagreement in the community, we need to take a step back. Let's talk about how PvP actually works. There are two main PvP modes, ranked and unranked. In both, you can choose to play solo or with a teammate. Once the match starts, you're shown your inventory, and here's where it gets interesting. Each team can ban 2 towers total. That means you and your opponent each get to remove towers from play. After that, you choose 4 towers from the remaining pool. These are the ones you'll bring into the match. Then, both teams vote on a PvP exclusive map. Once you're in the match, things move fast. You'll be able to use PvP-only consumables and, once a timer starts, you can begin sending zombies to the enemy side. Here's where it gets tricky, you'll need to multitask constantly. Defend your base, spawn zombies, upgrade towers, and manage your economy. Speaking of economy, that's a major part of PvP. Unlike regular TDS, your income in PvP is based on how many enemies you send. Every time you spawn a zombie, it increases your economy level, which gives you bigger payouts over time. So the more zombies you send, the more money you make. But that also means your opponent has more to deal with. So now that you understand how PvP works, who's right? Well, it's complicated. PvP was definitely a bold move by the developers, and for some players, it really did bring the spark back. Matches feel faster, more unpredictable, and way more competitive than classic TDS. But that doesn't mean it came without problems. The biggest issue? Balance. PvP heavily favors players with specific towers, mostly AoE-focused ones like Pyromancer, Mortar, or Electroshocker. If you don't have at least one of these in your loadout, you're basically cooked. Meanwhile, single-target towers like Minigunner or Ranger? Almost useless. They just can't keep up with the constant zombie spam. And then there's the economy system. Unlike normal TDS, where you earn money by surviving waves, PvP rewards you for sending enemies. The more you send, the more money you earn. This turns the mode into a race to overwhelm your opponent, not a strategic game about careful tower placement or teamwork. A lot of players feel like PvP locks you into a single, high-spam playstyle if you want to stand a chance at winning. And if that wasn't confusing enough, PvP also introduced balance changes that only apply in this mode. Why do some towers behave differently in PvP versus PvE? That kind of split just makes the game harder to understand, especially for new or casual players who are trying to learn both sides of TDS. This brings me to another point. Will ranked ruin Tower Defense Simulator? Now, this is just speculation, and I don't want anyone to take it too seriously or personally. But I do want to rant about it. I genuinely believe that ranked mode in clans could ruin the fun for a large part of the player base. Why? Because systems like ranked ladders, leaderboards, and competitive clans often come with toxicity. A little competition is fine, it can make games more exciting. But when players start obsessing over their ranks, or judging others based on trophies or ELO, it stops being fun. It becomes pressure. You'll start seeing players refusing to help lower ranks, gatekeeping tower choices, or trash-talking teammates for making a wrong move. I believe this is not what TDS is meant for. TDS has most of the times been great for teamwork, strategy, and having fun while grinding with friends. If ranked in clans start replacing that with constant stress and drama, the entire vibe of the game could shift in a bad way. So, is PvP one of, if not the worst update in Tower Defense Simulator? Maybe, maybe not. But it does show how much the game is shifting, and how not everyone is on board. Whether it's the bugs, the balance, or just the direction TDS is going. Updates like these can cause the downfall of the game. Do you think PvP deserves all the hate? Or are we just not giving it enough time? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching.